Hey guys, weapons are in for yet another change in December. Featured in the weekly update were details as to what to expect in terms of buffs or nerfs regarding each weapon type and a handful of exotics. Before I get into that though, I'll kind of do a summary on the weekly update, just so you have an idea of what's going on. First, the long and somewhat annoying quest that unlocks the weekly Crucible bounties that give you a shot at a Nightfall tier reward have actually been altered so it's not as much of a grind. Rare leg engrams will also actually decrypt into something, as before you would turn them in, you would just get Glimmer and no actual item for them. Refer a Friend is also coming soon, like November 23rd soon, so keep an eye out for that. Also included was a hint at a few new things, including some exotics from Year 1, getting some remodels, and being moved to Year 2 light levels. These new remodels of exotics are actually going to be available in December along with the update, but as for which ones, I'm not too sure at the moment. The Destiny Instagram is actually going to be posting them throughout the day, but after they're all done, I do plan on having a video up, so if you don't want to check the Instagram, then just keep it locked here. For those that do want to go check out the Instagram, check the description box below because I did leave a little link for you. Now for our weapon changes. I'm going to list off in order of how they were shown in the update, following actual weapon types with exotics, so here we go. Auto rifles are first up, and while Update 2.0 was good to them considering we actually see a few around, they just aren't quite there yet. So to compensate, Bungie has decided to give them a slight buff. A small increase to base damage was applied across the board. 3% for low rate of fire such as Suros Regime, 7% for medium rate of fire like the Zalo Supercell, and 4% for high rate of fire like the Arminius D. Overall, I think this is what auto rifles needed, and I think this could make them a very viable option, along with the pulse rifles, and allow them to compete actually pretty well. Speaking of, next up is the pulse rifles. Right now they are on top of the food chain and easily the most popular weapons for the moment. So, of course, that means they had to get hit just enough to balance out. Base damage was reduced across all pulses, 9% for low rate of fire such as Spare Change, 8% for medium rate of fire guns such as the Hawksaw, Red Death, or Bad Juju, and a 2% reduction for the fastest firing in the game, the Grasp of Malak. Also included was an increase in base damage for AI combatants from 1.25x to 1.3x. Surely we all should have seen this coming, and I'm glad pulse rifles are being brought down just a bit. They'll still have quick time to kills, and these nerfs are basically saying that instead of being able to kill someone with 2.5 bursts, you're going to need about 75% of that third burst to hit. Basically just one extra bullet, or even just about half a bullet, it's still nothing too crazy. Next up is hand cannons, which, following the release of 2.0, kind of faded them out for a bit. This new update seeks to buff them just a tad, increasing aim down sight accuracy for more reliable shooting at close to medium range. This is exactly what hand cannons needed to get them to where I'd consider a sweet spot, but of course we won't know until we have our hands on the new update. Shotguns have plagued PvP for a while now, and with many players speaking out against their ridiculous range and the fact that they pretty much give you the best roll on a Conspiracy Theory D for completing a quest. For this update, shotguns got hit hard. Damage falloff will occur at melee ranges. Slower ready and stow times were also added. Along with these two were additional recoil and slower reload speeds. Slower aim downside, slower base movement speed while walking, though sprint is unaffected. Base damage was increased for AIs from 1.55x to 1.6, but the changes will still be felt. I, along with many people, did agree shotguns needed to be nerfed, but this seems like they may send them into oblivion, like they did with auto rifles last year. From what I can read, it seems like shotguns are finished, but only time will tell. Fusion rifles, for some reason, keep getting buffed and nerfed all over the place for anyone to really get comfy with them. Here we are again with a few more changes for your charges. Charge speed was increased on faster charging rifles with the reduced burst damage. A stability nerf for hipfire will also be implemented, along with increased ADS and crouch stability across the board. Another AI damage buff also is received from 1.15x to 1.25x. Not really needed changes, but I want to believe they'll be moved into more acceptable versions sometime soon. And for the Pocket Infinity to make a return. Hey, I'm allowed to dream. Next up is snipers, which didn't see too much of a change. Damage falloff is a thing now for those insanely long shots, and Luck in the Chamber can only proc on precision shots. This is great news considering they got rid of final rounders for Luck in the Chamber. Chamberers? Still, very annoying to go up against. Sidearms are last on the list, with just a small increase to ready and stow speeds, which was indeed needed, but considering how much they aren't used, they may have needed a little more to actually be relevant. Now let's move on to exotics. The first Curse exotic hand cannon got a much needed buff considering the actual weapon didn't seem like it was worth all the wait time the quest required. Now the title perk will refill the magazine when activated, along with giving some stability, target acquisition, and longer damage falloff when activated. Also included was a 25% base range buff. This may be what was needed along with the hand cannon buff to make the first Curse viable, and I'm actually really excited to try this gun out afterwards. Next up is Hawkmoon. While Hawkmoon has been the lone survivor from 2.0, it apparently was still a little too strong after tests were done with the new changes, so base range was reduced by 20. Lucky shots from both Luck in the Chamber and Holding Aces now do 1.2x bonus damage instead of 1.3x, which means barely anything because assuming you get 2 headshots and one of them is the lucky bullets, it's still going to kill in 2 headshots. The Chaperone has been a very reliable and fun shotgun to use. In more tests Bungie ran, even with the shotgun nerf, the Chaperone still managed to find a way to soar above the competition. So, a small reduction in base damage and increase in precision damage was applied. 1.75x precision from 1.1x. Fabian's Strategy, the Titan exclusive auto rifle, has been somewhat of a mystery to most. It's a standard auto rifle with some okay perks, but the Frontlines perk was nothing to be desired. Changes coming to this weapon include Frontlines increasing base rate of fire to that of a bullet hose, but damage will also match a standard bullet hose to compensate. Extended mags has been replaced with flared magwell and small bore removed for rifled barrel. Reload speed and stability have also been increased, which essentially changes everything about the gun, so I'm not exactly sure how this is going to handle. Seems promising, but I'll wait to comment. Black Spindle is next, and like many of you, I'm confused on why the Spindle's scope never changes, but no matter what you pick, it turns out it was only built with one scope, so instead of changing scopes, you'll be changing barrels. No difference in stats, so that's fine. Finally, we have the Sleeper Simulant, not Stimulant, which got its inventory ammo buffed from 7 to 9. The ammo exploit where you could fire another weapon down to 1 bullet, then switch to the Sleeper for max ammo has been fixed, and this weapon will no longer benefit from fusion rifle perks on armor, requiring heavy ammo armor as an alternative. That is all the weapon changes coming this December. Till next time, that'll about do it here. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more Destiny content like the Year 1 to Year 2 exotics, which should be coming soon. I really do appreciate it, so thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.